biggest mistake probably that I've ever made in my life. Last night, couldn't sleep, looked at the files, started with documents, moved on to video, and my God, bloody hell. We're living in bloody hell. I had to stop because I can't unsee what I saw. In my life I've watched horror movies, not even close. Blood-curdling screams of young kids, the fear in these children. These people are the devil walking earth. The devil is on earth. It was horrible. And a lot of children. The idea that they've been driving children, cutting up intestines and eating them, unborn babies, violating these children. I mean, I've never in my life, if you had told me in my wildest dreams, I swear, maybe I'm naive. Am I naive? But if you told me in my wildest dreams that this kind of thing was happening in this country.
This stuff that is in these files makes all that pale in comparison. And if you're offered an opportunity to view the pictures or read the files, this stuff that is in these files makes all that pale in comparison. And if you're offered an opportunity to view the pictures or read the files, I would seriously consider not doing that.
Yeah.
Because it will haunt you, this stuff that's in there. And here's the problem. The Biden administration, the Obama administration, these files have been out there forever. And I've said this many times, if they had the goods on Trump, you know that the Obama administration / the Biden administration, because it never really changed hands. They would have had that stuff out there. And this stuff just goes so deep, Denny, and it is very disgusting to me. And, it's evil, it's satanic, and it's from the pits of hell, and that's where these people will end up.
Well, we know he was on the plane, not only on the plane a couple times, multiple times. He traveled internationally with Jeffrey Epstein, and he was on the plane called the Lolita Express because it supposedly had a bed in there where Jeffrey Epstein had young girls. He has been a friend of his, a continuing friend of his for years and years. Contrast that with Donald Trump, who hasn't spoken to him in many years, over a decade, after he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago for bad behavior. So that's the difference there. And I think Americans see the two-tier justice system. But, we don't know. They're saying Clinton has not been to his private island, but he has traveled all over the world with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know why A.G. Garland and the Justice Department are so quiet on this tonight. They're out there labeling parents domestic terrorists. Yet they're saying nothing about this, and these documents were so slow to come out. Human trafficking is a multi-billion-dollar business in this country, and Jeffrey Epstein is dead, and Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison for 20 years where she belongs. And if people in that report are still fighting to keep their names private, Sean, they have no legal basis to do so unless they're a child, a victim, or a cooperating defendant by some chance against some potential case against Ghislaine Maxwell. And I think Mark Garagos, as a great criminal defense attorney, will back that up as well.
I want you to listen to this. This is Virginia Guffrey. This is the woman who was supposedly committed after she had a car accident. This is her talking, her brother speaking about this case. Listen.
I think we're very hopeful that this is the start of the domino effect. This is where the house of cards starts falling. And, kudos to the UK for taking the first step, for saying, you know what, we are going to arrest somebody who is held to one of the highest esteems out there, somebody who was a former prince.
Aferze Epsteina.
An international domino effect.
Investigations are now underway in at least 10 countries.
From Europe, where the former Prime Minister of Norway is charged with gross corruption, which he denies, to the Emirates, where the CEO of one of the globe's largest companies has stepped down after the files released displayed communications with Epstein, including an email with a reference to, quote, torture video. He has not been charged with any crime. In the UK, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor faces new calls to be investigated for allegedly leaking state secrets. And in Hollywood, top marketing exec Casey Wasserman is selling his talent agency. He's not accused of a crime, but said he regrets flirtatious emails he sent to Ghislaine Maxwell that had become a distraction. Epstein spun himself a web of global elites. Many of them named this weekend by the Department of Justice. 300 high-profile people that appear at least once in Epstein's emails. Some in direct contact with him, others just mentioned in news articles. Criminality is not implied. But Juliette Bryant said when she met Epstein in South Africa, surrounded by powerful people, it made her feel safe.
A girl approached me and said she was here at the King of America. He was here with Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey and Chris Tucker.
Bryant did not accuse the other men of wrongdoing, but said Epstein flew her to New York and then put her on a private jet.
As the airplane took off, he started touching me forcibly in between my legs, and I freaked out. I realized this is not a modeling opportunity. I've been kidnapped.
Bryant received damages from Epstein's estate.
In the last few weeks, Juliet, we've seen people like royals, prime ministers, people in positions of power face real consequences. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think it's amazing that they're all being exposed, but I just would like to see them all held accountable.
The pursuit of accountability continues. The House Oversight Committee will depose Ohio billionaire Les Wexner next week. The FBI labeled him a co-conspirator in a 2019 internal document. Now, Wexner and all the men we mentioned deny criminal accusations.
We're back with a Fox News alert. Police releasing Andrew Mountbatten Windsor after the former prince was arrested in the UK on suspicion of misconduct over his ties to convicted offender Jeffrey Epstein. Stephanie Bennett joins us live from Buckingham Palace with the details. Stephanie, good morning.
Good morning. Well, the royal fuss has definitely drawn out the crowd this morning. As you can probably see behind me, massive groups of people for the changing of the guard. Of course, this happens every other day. But as far as new information regarding former Prince Andrew, the Thames Valley Police haven't released too much. They are still searching his former residence over at Windsor, and they did release him last night, but he's still under investigation, of course. Now, Andrew was arrested yesterday morning and held for roughly 11 hours on suspicion of misconduct in public office. It also marked his 66th birthday. These photos were taken as he tried to hide from the cameras after he left the Aylsham police station. Now, the arrest comes after police were investigating claims that while serving as UK trade envoy, Andrew shared confidential government documents with the late offender Jeffrey Epstein. Andrew was arrested on the Sandringham estate in eastern England. Police also searching of his possessions and all of that as well. Now, King Charles III, Andrew's older brother, said that the law must take its course and quickly got back to business as usual, appearing at a London Fashion Week event yesterday while Queen Camilla attended an engagement at Westminster. The royal family has tried to distance themselves from the disgraced prince. It's the first time a senior royal has been arrested in modern history. In fact, the last arrest was in 1647 when King Charles I was charged with treason and sentenced to death. The king will visit the U.S. in April. President Donald Trump commented on Andrew's arrest yesterday.
I think it's a shame. I think it's very sad. I think it's so bad for the royal family. It's very, very sad to me.
Can't make this shit up, people.